It took me years and, to be honest, quite some failed masters to understand this. I was approaching mastering wrong. Here are my 5 insights that really transformed my career, and they aren't what you might think they are. Hey, this is Toby from Masterly, where we transform great tracks into outstanding releases but without all the guesswork. And today, we want to have a deep dive into the 5 things that really transformed my mastering career, and it will help yours too. They are not about expensive gear, they're not about use this or that plugin, but really about the fundamentals. So let's dive in. Number 1, mastering is emotional, not just technical. When I began mastering, I was obsessed with LUFS, or actually RMS back then, the right frequency curves and all that stuff. But while technically correct, some of my masters just didn't work. They didn't move people. The breakthrough for me came when I started asking different questions. Instead of, does this master meet the technical perfections? I started to ask for, what does the listener need to feel when they hear that track? And does my master incorporate that? Let me show you what I mean. Over here, I have a pretty experimental track. It doesn't follow classical song structures, but it still has those emotional climaxes that need enhancement. See this automation lane here? What I did is quite effective. I automated the bass, reducing it in these sections leading up to the climaxes so slightly that the listener wouldn't consciously notice. But then when each climax hits, at these points, the bass returns to 100%, creating a more powerful impact. This approach guides the listener through the emotional journey, even in a song without traditional verse-chorus structures. Secret number 2. The magic is in the mix, and artistic vision is key. 80% of what makes a great master is a great mix. That might sound strange coming from a mastering engineer, but it is true. When I began my mastering journey, I would just receive mixes, try to do the best I can, maybe send some revisions back and forth. But then I realized I have to change something. The one thing I changed is I have a 30-minute consultation with every producer, every artist I work with to really understand what they were heading for in their mix, what the general artistic vision is they have for their track, because doing that helps me bring forward those emotions that are intended in the mix. Let's go back to that experimental track, for example. We have those glitchy elements in the beginning, and at first I thought that was a technical issue that needs fixing or that needs a revision. But during our consultation, I learned, nope, that is intentional, that's an artistic choice, it's central to the artist's vision. Had I, quote unquote, fixed it, that would have meant another revision, an artist who is not happy, and that's a perfect example of don't assume something is wrong just because it sounds wrong to you. This consultation approach helps both of us, the artist or producer and me. It helps me understanding the vision, understanding really important parts in the track that need to shine especially. It helps me understand if something is a mistake or not, but it also gives me the opportunity to maybe point out something that I already realized might become critical in mastering. Sometimes it's something like reverb that is not so loud in the mix, but I know if I master it, it will come out much louder. It's half an hour, but it makes everything so much more efficient, makes everybody more happy. And it turns out it helps me to create better masters and better tracks. Let me share a quick story. I had an artist where some parts of the vocals were a little bit buried in the mix. So in our consultation, I was just discussing with him, okay, do you really want it that way? Do you want the synth to be that loud? Or can you please push up the vocal like a dB or 1.5 dB? In the end, this is what happened. He pushed up the vocal a little bit. I could have tried to master rebalance that, but this will introduce new issues. And if I did not have asked him, could have been one of those cases where the artist says, nope, I want the synth to bury those vocals. So yeah, try to understand the artistic vision and help the artist to give you the greatest mix even before you start mastering. Secret number 3. Loudness is not everything. One of the biggest traps we can fall into when we master is our obsession with loudness. But it completely misses the point of what mastering is about. Take this track by Meinberg, for example. I think technically I could push it to around -7 LUFS integrated even without introducing too much distortion. And many engineers would do it. But listen to the relaxed vibe of that track. Okay, so let's imagine I push this track to -7 LUFS. It would be louder, but those gentle dynamics between the drums and the bass, they would suffer to some extent. So instead, I ended up with a master around -10 LUFS, preserving those dynamics and the emotional intent of the music. Next time you're mastering, try this. Make 3 versions of your master. One that is 2 dB louder than you think you should push it, one that is exactly where you think it should be, and one that is 2 dB lower. And then the next day, with fresh ear, listen to them loudness matched and check which one of them transports the emotion of the track best. And that is probably your perfect master. Secret number 4. Calibrate your ears, not just your room and your speakers. No matter how much money you invested in your speakers and your room and how much you calibrated it, you need to recalibrate your ears regularly, because we do not have long-term memory of a sound profile. When we're working on a track for 30 minutes or an hour, we will have lost perspective to a certain extent. There's an easy fix for that. Usually before a session, I will listen to a couple of reference tracks from my extensive list of reference tracks that I know inside out. And when I do a master, a lot of times I will think, if this song would be in a playlist, what would be a good song before that and after that? Or if you like, if it would be in a DJ set, what would be the song before that and after that? And I will use those great songs as reference for how to put my song in between that, sonically and also for loudness, of course. I also take breaks regularly to just recalibrate my ears, get a fresh perspective, and I might listen to some reference tracks even after the break to get back in. You can do this too. So create your list of 10, 20, 40 tracks that you really know inside out and listen to some of them before you start a session. Use reference tracks. So there's imaginary track before and after in a playlist or a DJ set, and check against those tracks regularly where you land with your master. Secret number 5, trust your ears, but verify with tools. I think I've went through both phases, trying to rely on tools too much, trying to push a song to a certain frequency curve just because. On the other hand, not relying on tools at all and realizing, okay, that doesn't work either. So what I do today is I first do what I think is the right thing. For example, if I want some more bass that I feel in the chest, I will push it up until I feel that's right, and then verify it with an analyzer. I also have this thingy here in my studio, which is, do we get it in the picture? Maybe. Which is a super cheap dB meter, because I'm also guilty of trying to push things louder while I'm working on something. And so I check if I am in the ballpark I'm used to master my songs at, which is usually in this room around 80, 84 dB. If I went too loud, I might turn down my interface just to be in the ballpark and get back to the right feeling, the right listening environment. And you can do this approach too. Do the adjustments how you think they should sound, and then verify what you just did with an analyzer of your choice to make sure you actually did the right thing. Conclusion. These 5 things transform my approach to mastering, and I hope they give you something to think about for your own work as well. I'd love to know which one of those 5 resonates most with you. Please let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Don't you agree? Is there something I totally missed? Let me know. And if you want me to have a listen to one of your tracks, or you want a free test master, head over to master.ly, book your free consultation call or your free test master. And if you like this video, please leave a subscribe, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye.